maybe primarily sales, right? But maybe not only sales. There could be other functions at a company making requests of the marketing team and so on,
Absolutely.
right? So it's sort of the marketer's
Absolutely.
burden, right? Having things coming at you from all directions. People saying, "Hey, we need this. We need a presentation deck of 50 slides. It would be nice to have it tomorrow."
Every
So
marketer is gonna know that pain for sure. We've all had
yeah,
that deadline of, "I need it tomorrow," or "I need it by Friday," or whatever that might be, and you have obviously other priorities and things in your week and, setting that expectation of like, "Okay, now my whole week has been a little bit rearranged, so how do we deal with that?"
right. Okay. So when we talk about managing expectations, in a way, what we're really talking about is setting things up so that you're not put in those situations, right? Where suddenly you
Exactly.
have to scramble and rearrange everything. So, how do you do that?
For myself, first and foremost, having alignment across every department and as a company as a whole is basically that's step one. So having, I've worked in businesses before where the common goal can be a bit muddy or there's too many focuses. And so what you might be working on in terms of content and what product might need and sales might need is completely different than what marketing is working on simply because that clear priority hasn't been spoken about. So that's step one of also just, having a business that has a very clear goal in mind. Second of all, depending on the department that you might work with most or, even all of them, I have monthly syncs with sales, monthly syncs with product. It doesn't have to be the entire team. It can be, you can select a leader from each of those departments that you're connecting with. And those meetings, whether they're 30 minutes, an hour, you obviously can set what you need in terms of time, but those are strictly for what does that department need from you? What's working? What isn't? Do they have ideas? What are the customers asking for? Even if it's in terms of product, like are they looking for one pagers on how a specific aspect of your product is going to help them or anything like that? So it's very helpful to have a sync and discuss those and even to discuss past ideas that you might even not haven't gotten to yet and reprioritizing what you thought was coming up and what was needed. And then again, on top of obviously very clear lines of communication, a content calendar. It sounds so basic, but
Hmm.
it really is the key to everyone having visibility on what content and marketing is working on as a whole, what that deadline is. And, especially we're coming up onto the end of 2022, a lot of projects are being wrapped up. So even myself, the past week or two, I've had, fellow wonderful coworkers be like, I have this idea and this. I'm like, well, I love the idea and I'm writing it down. I've got it on the back burner. But we have 4 pieces of content that need to go out before December 24th. So it's really just having a content calendar and knowing what's
Yeah.
coming up and that's something that everyone can have visibility on as well.
Right. The content calendar, anyone who's ever been in a content production role, whether it's in business or journalism or whatever, you got to have
Yeah.
some way of planning stuff out ahead of time. I mean, that's really all it is. Just so you're not always wondering, like, okay, well, what's next? Where you're right. It's a simple thing, but if you don't have it, you're in a lot of trouble. So that's a good
Yeah.
point. But I like your point about making it transparent. Like it's not just you; other people can see it too.
Exactly. That's the whole point, right? Like we want everyone to know what not it doesn't have to be every project, but those big hitters, those
Yeah.
pieces of content that people have asked for, if someone from product or sales has asked for a blog and you said that you're working on it and you've, you know, ex- set that expectation that it's a project that you're working on, it's still required as you as a marketer and as a content marketer to to keep it clear of when they can expect to see that piece, whether it's going to be in three
Yeah.
weeks, 2 months, etc. And that's the whole point of the content calendar is to plan things ahead and prioritize accordingly.